Previously on Daxplore, I would not even know what to look at.
I'm also looking at
Yep,
the ledgers to
wood,
make sure
looks
all of the
looks
bolts
secure.
are
Yep,
fastened.
looks good and secure. Yep, bolts
Whether
tight,
there are
nice,
any
good.
cracks or
And coming up in today's video, on a cruise ship, and we've covered some aspects of why it not be the best option for you. So let's answer the big question: is a cruise for you? Hello there everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Nice to have you here. Today I thought I'll do a video of talking about cruising, and we do have two videos on our channel. The first ever videos that we uploaded of us going on our first ever cruise this year on the MSC Virtuosa. If you've not seen those videos yet, then go and check them out. I will put them here on the screen for you. Do go and click on them. We have one vlog here showing you the entire journey, 8 days, 7 nights on our cruise around the Mediterranean. And we also have another video here on the channel, which was a full tour of the ship. If you want to go and check those videos out, we will be very grateful. And yeah, that leads us on to today's video. And I thought, why not make a video on cruising? So maybe you've been asking yourself some questions about cruising and have been maybe wondering, shall I go on a cruise or shall I not? You're not really knowing what to expect. So I thought I'd make a video, as it was our first time experiencing it as well, showing you what to expect on your first ever cruise and basically telling you our experience and weighing up the pros and the cons of going on a cruise and why it may be better, or for some people not so good, instead of going on a regular holiday. So let's dive into this video today. So before we get started, guys, I really want to stress that these are our own opinions and yeah, basically just from our perspective and our experience. Obviously, a lot of factors depend on your experience, and everyone's experience will be completely different depending obviously where you traveled and which cruise line that you went on. So a lot of lines do have different experiences and are catered really for different age groups. And also it will depend on what time of year you go on your cruise, because during the summer holidays, your experience may be, for example, completely different to when you go in the more quieter months of maybe, let's say, March or April in the beginning of the year. So maybe you've been holding off going on a cruise like we did for a very, very long time because we were just worried about what to expect. We didn't want to pay a huge package price and really not know what to expect, and then at the end of the day be disappointed with the outcome. So we really were worried about, oh my God, what am I doing? Even the first time that we booked this cruise, I was a bit worried after booking it. It was quite a spontaneous decision, I must admit. And after I booked it, I was like, oh my God, what have we done? Anyway, it all worked out in the end, and I think you should just go for it. But I'll talk about that a little bit later on. We're going to start off by talking about what you should expect on your first ever cruise. So maybe you've also been asking yourself some questions, what to expect. So we will dive into that right now. So boarding a cruise ship is very different to going into a hotel in some aspects. You will drop off your bags at usually a terminal building like you would in a terminal building if you were going on a flight, for instance. That is pretty much the same experience. You will then go on board without your bags. Your bags will usually be brought to you to your room a little bit later on, but you will then be taken on board. You go through security like you usually would also boarding an aircraft. You then are on board and you will be taken to your room, or you will go to your room on your own accord depending on what you book. If you book a suite and maybe have a higher tier, then you will be taken by your butler. It also depends obviously on the different category that you have booked in advance. But then you go to your room and usually your key cards will be left on the side of the door for you to enter your room. You will be then free to enter your room if it is obviously ready for you to do so, and then you can explore the ship on your own accord. Your bags will be brought to you a little bit later on, usually about a few hours later. Your bags will be just outside your door, and then you'll be ready to unpack your suitcases. So what we did, and what everyone usually does when you get onto a cruise ship for the very first time, is you are obviously going to want to explore the ship. You obviously want to know where to get the good drinks, and you want to know where the buffet options are, so you will walk around the ship and explore, and that is perfectly fine, and I do obviously recommend you to do so. You will get a good insight into where things are, but trust me, it'll be very, very daunting for the very first time. this ship will feel absolutely enormous. And you're going to wonder, oh my God, how am I going to be able to fit everything into those few days that I am on board? But don't you worry, I will tell you that from our experience, we felt exactly the same on the first day, but by the second day, you will sort of roughly have an idea where everything is, and you will know where to go, and you will also already discover your favorite spots. So there will already be food options for you to explore. So when you get on board, there usually will be some options at the buffet for you to dig into. So if you are hungry and you go on board, then don't hesitate to take a little bite to eat or have a little drink when you get on board, as the options are available. Once you've done so, then I recommend you discover your meal options and the dining options. Go and check out where the buffet is and see if it's for you. See where the in-dining restaurants are and which one is dedicated to you. There will be multiple in-dining restaurants on board, but one will usually be dedicated to you and your category. So make sure that you discover where that is, how to get there, and what your dining times are. You will already have an itinerary of what to discover and which activities are going on board, usually just for that one day. That's how it was with our ship, and every day we had an app, and every single day the app would be updated, and then you would be able to see which activities and other options are during the day for that specific day. On sea days, you really do have a great opportunity to discover the ship and enjoy the activities on board, and port days you can go off ship and enjoy the city if you want to. There will be excursions available, which usually will be available also a day or maybe a few days before you get to that specific port. Some cruise lines will also offer those options for you before you book, so you can also book those onshore activities as well prior to your embarkation on board. And some activities and some excursions will in fact have to be booked before you get on board. So make sure you find out which ones you can book in advance and which ones you do need to book in advance before they are sold out. That's very, very important. And maybe I can answer a question for some of you that you've been wondering. Do I actually have to disembark the ship and go into the port when the ship is at port? And the answer is no. Don't worry if you want to stay on board and you don't really want to go into the city or explore any excursions in that specific place. You are of course able to stay on board and enjoy the onboard activities, which will continue during the entire day, even on those days that you're not at sea. So now we've explored some of the basics of cruising, let's get into the pros of cruising and why it may be for you. So the first thing that is a huge plus and an enormous advantage when cruising is that everything is available. Everything is included. You can eat as much as you want during the entire day. You usually have a buffet restaurant, if not more buffet restaurants that have food available during the entire day, even at nighttime. So you don't need to worry about where to go, where to eat, which restaurants to book in advance and stuff as well. You obviously can do, if you wish, on port days, you can go into the city and eat in a restaurant somewhere if you do prefer. Obviously, you will have to pay for that yourself. But if you do stay on board and on sea days, you will have enough food for you to get through the day. Don't you worry about that, it's all included. Drinks, however, are not always included. It depends on the package that you book, so it's very, very important that you do that in advance. Usually you can save a lot in advance if you do it before you embark the ship. Once you're on board, the prices do go up for drinks packages, so I will definitely recommend that you book your drinks package that you prefer before you board the ship. This obviously depends also on which cruise line you book. Some cruise lines have drinks packages which include alcohol, and some have drinks packages that don't include alcohol. Obviously you can weigh up whether it will be worth it for you depending on what it costs, and then you can decide. The thing that also took a huge weight off of our shoulders is that you only have to unpack your suitcase once. You get your suitcase when you're on board, as I said, you unpack it, you put everything away that you need in the closet, and then you are free to enjoy the full experience for all of the days on board. You don't need to worry about packing your suitcase, going to the next hotel, going to the next city, transporting it around, or getting a next flight to the next place. You have the advantage of exploring lots of places and being in various destinations and only having to unpack your suitcase once. Another huge plus point, and this may interest you if you are a family, there are so many activities on board that are also catered to different age groups, and there is something for everyone to enjoy. This obviously also depends on the cruise line and the destination and the time of year. You have so many different activities for everyone to enjoy. You have pools, fitness classes for people who really enjoy fitness and those types of things. You have casinos, and you also have theaters. You have just loads of different experiences. There's karaoke, you also have quiz nights, which is also fun for the whole family. And there's definitely always something for everyone to enjoy. And the good thing is, if you have kids, you don't have to worry about them being somewhere and not knowing where they are, because the ship may be large, but it's not that big for you to lose them. So don't worry. There are usually kids clubs as well on board, also depending obviously on which cruise line you choose. We went on MSC, the MSC Virtuosa, and we also showed you that in the video, so go and check that out. We did cover the aspect of the kids club as well. And this means the kids will be, they will be occupied during the day, and you can go and enjoy what you want to enjoy while the kids are occupied and having fun in the kids club. So it's great for entire families as well as couples. Now, we tend to travel quite a lot, but I understand that people may travel for the first time ever. And I think a cruise is a great way to travel if you haven't been a long distance before or haven't been away from home for a long time before, as you certainly don't need travel expertise, and I will explain why just now. There really is no juggling hotels, transportation, or restaurant research. You have everything in one place, and you know that's my room, this is my ship, and I have everything I need right here with me, and I don't need to worry about where to go and what to look for, and basically spend a lot of time doing research and looking at different reviews of restaurants and stuff, because it is all there for you. So now we've discovered some of the positive aspects of cruising, let's move on to some of the reasons why it may not be for you. So the first thing is that you are on a schedule, and that is a very important thing to keep in mind. Yes, you're able to roam the ship as you like. You're able to go where you want, when you want, pretty much. However, you do need to realize that the ship has to leave port at a certain time, and it needs to arrive in its next destination at a certain time as well. So port days are quite short, and you will have to be on board at a certain time ready for the ship to leave to go to the next place or to go on its sea day. So if you are someone who likes long and unstructured exploration, then a ship may not be the best option for you, as you will have to be there at a strict time for the next journey. The next point is that extra costs can in fact add up. Yes, the food is usually included, and you don't need to worry about that during your stay. We already spoke about the drinks packages. However, you can also book extra spa treatments, specialty restaurants. You can also book excursions, and don't get me started on the Wi-Fi. If you want Wi-Fi on board, then it usually comes at an extra cost, and that is not a small charge, trust me. The aspect of the Wi-Fi didn't really bother us, because we knew that we were going away for 8 days, and we were happy to switch off for the duration of our holiday. Obviously, some people do need to keep in touch with their loved ones at home for various reasons, and that is definitely understandable. So if you do need to do that, then do keep in mind that Wi-Fi charges are quite high on ships, especially on MSC. Obviously, this also depends on the cruise line and which cruise line you choose. However, on MSC, you would have had to have paid hundreds of pounds if you wanted to book the Wi-Fi extra, but we do cover that also in our review video. Another point that I would like to add to the Wi-Fi is, even if you do book your Wi-Fi package, there is no signal guaranteed. Some days, on sea days, you might not get a good signal, which means you won't be able to use the Wi-Fi as planned. So I would recommend against it. So the next point is that you can't really immerse yourself in the destination. You can't really indulge the culture or really take time to enjoy the destination before heading off to the next one, because you do usually get around 6 to 8 hours of time to explore the port before you have to be back on board as the ship will set sail to the next destination. So do keep that in mind. That time ashore is very, very limited. Another thing I would like to add is that if you're not a big fan of crowds, which most of us aren't, then cruise ships can get very, very crowdy and busy. Obviously, the ship is enormous, but the MSC Virtuosa, for example, had over 6,000 passengers and our ship was fully booked. Go and check out that video and you will see how busy that it looked on board. But I must admit, it depends obviously on the time of year that you book as well. If you're going through the summer holidays, you will have lots of families on board with lots of children, which may make it seem very, very busy as well. We went in the quieter months, but we also had a full ship, obviously with less families. However, yeah, it didn't really feel like 6,000 people on board to me, but at times, especially when you wanted in the evenings to maybe find a space at the bar or in some restaurants, or maybe even just go to the quiz that was available every single night, you were struggling to find a seat available, even if you were there maybe half an hour before the event started. So that's also something to keep in mind. If you're not a fan of crowds and busy places, then if you're going to go on a cruise, book it during the quieter months if you are able to do so. And if you are a family who are only able to go during the summer holidays, for example, then do keep that in mind, that it will be very, very, very busy on board on a full ship. And the final con that I will list today is seasickness. I must admit, we had a very, 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 very calm journey on our ship, so we were quite lucky. However, I've heard different experiences from other people as well, saying that sometimes, especially in the Bay of Biscay, which I've heard can be very, very rough at some times. So do keep in mind, if you're not good with traveling, or you do, struggle with travel sickness in any way, then do keep in mind that you can get seasick on board. Obviously, you get used to it. The first few days was a weird experience for us. You do feel the ship moving ever so slightly. However, obviously, the larger the ship is, the less you will feel. And it's just something to keep in mind if you're not too good with travel. Right, so we've covered the pros of going on a cruise ship, and we've covered some aspects of why it not be the best option for you. So let's answer the big question. Is a cruise for you? So I would say yes, if you want a hassle-free vacation, you want to explore loads of different places in a short amount of time, you're happy to enjoy loads of activities and not have to worry about what to expect. If you enjoy the all-inclusive or semi-inclusive feel of a holiday and you're happy to have other people plan your activities for you, then also I would say go ahead and book a cruise. If you're not too worried about crowds and you do actually enjoy meeting new people and having fun with activities with other people together, then a cruise is also a great option for you. It's definitely a hassle-free style of traveling, and that is something that we kept in mind after coming off of our first cruise. If you are, however, someone who prefers an immersive and a slow style of traveling where you can really indulge into the culture of the place that you are traveling to, and you don't like strict timetables and having to stick to a certain plan, then it may not be too good for you. If you're also overwhelmed by big crowds and really want to be for yourself and enjoy your own style of holiday where you can decide what to do when you want to do it, then I would also recommend not going on a cruise. So I'm going to sum it up basically with our experience and what we felt after coming off of our first ever cruise. I must admit, the first few days we were very, very unsure if we were actually enjoying it or not, and that's absolutely fine. The first few days will feel absolutely daunting to you. When you first get onto a ship for the very first time, you've gone through the process of giving up your bags, you've gone through the terminal, through security, and you are finally on board. You will feel a sense of, oh my God, where am I and what am I doing here? And that is absolutely fine. Don't worry about it. There is a lot to see and there is a lot to take in when you first get on board. You won't know where to go. There will be so many different things to discover, and basically you will be overwhelmed by the amount of things that there actually are to see and discover. So don't worry about it when you first get on board. It is an absolute normal feeling. I just recommend when you get on board, go and explore the ship in your own pace. Don't rush it. Don't take too long. Just make sure that you get to see everything in your own time, and you will feel a lot less stress after that, trust me. So if you've watched this video and you're now finally thinking, yes, I want to go on a cruise ship, then I am definitely behind you. I was not sure for years and years and years if we should do it or if we shouldn't do it. And we finally decided, let's just try it. If you're someone who doesn't know or still isn't able to answer the question, shall I go on a cruise ship, then I would recommend just go for it, try it. It's a good, affordable option for someone who wants to go on holiday and doesn't really want to stress about where to go. and have to worry about all the organization of your holiday. Just go on board, enjoy, relax, drink what you want to drink, eat what you want to eat, enjoy the activities, and you can really make it your own experience, even if it is a quite structured one. You're able to decide if you want to go to the quiz or if you prefer to go and watch a show. It's really, really up to you. You don't have to do any activities if you don't want to. You can also just lounge by the pool the whole day if that's more your thing. So don't worry about having to basically take part in different activities on board. It isn't a must. There are so many different activities and things to do on board, or things not to do on board. You don't have to do anything, as I said, if you don't really want to. You can just basically relax and do your own thing. You could even stay in your own cabin for the entire 7 to 8 days if you wanted to as well. Another thing I will say is that some cruises do go 14 days. Some cruises only have a duration of a few days, 2 to 3 days, maybe 4 days. Some go a week. It really does depend on the journey that the ship does, and I will recommend not going too far away. I wouldn't start off, if you are located in Europe, of doing a cruise in the Caribbean or something. I would rather recommend staying around the English Channel, maybe going into Europe, the Mediterranean if you want to. And that would be my recommendation for you. Maybe stick to 4 to maybe 7 days, maximum just 8 days for the beginning, and then you can gradually see if it is for you. Then you can go up to 14 days or maybe 21 days. Some cruises go for a whole month if you want to as well. We decided we will do 7 days just to see if it is for us, because if it really, really isn't for you and you're on board and you want to go home, then don't worry. You will know that you won't be on board for too long. So if you do go on board and realize, oh my God, I want to do this and I want to stay here, then obviously next time you can book a longer cruise. So I recommend, if it is your first time, then don't book a very long cruise. Just gradually extend the length of your cruise each time you go. We will definitely go on one again, and we're actually in the planning of booking our next one for next year, so stay tuned for that. I'm sure we will be on board very, very soon. Maybe we'll try a different cruise line this time. We decided to go on MSC because it was the best option for us at the time, and we've heard from other people on board that are experienced cruisers that said that there are other lines out there that are brilliant and that we need to try as well. So who knows which we will try next, but we are we're looking around and see what options there are at the moment for next year, so stay tuned for that. As I said, if you haven't seen our videos, then do go and check them out. I put them up on screen right now for you to go and check out. Do click on those and enjoy, and leave a like if you did enjoy those. They give a good insight into a first time on board a cruise ship, and basically what we experienced on our first time on board. I also want to stress, if you've watched this video and you've decided against cruising, that is obviously absolutely fine. Everyone has their own priorities and different priorities when booking a holiday, and that is definitely fine, and I understand that. So I hope I was able to give you a little insight to the pros and the cons of booking a cruise. If you've been wondering if you should go on one for a very long time, and you just couldn't answer that question, shall I do it or shall I not? I'd say go ahead and do it, obviously, if those options that I did state do apply to you. If you are more in the con category, then obviously I understand if you do decide against it. So that will be all for this video today, and I hope I was able to help you a little bit with your decision of going on a cruise. And if you want to go next year, we might see you on board very, very soon. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you made it to the end, do leave a like, comment, and subscribe to our channel, and we will see you in the next video. Thank you very much, and take care, and goodbye for now.